Hi everyone. I hope you all are doing well. So this is going to be as quick but as detailed as possible as I can get. I've gotten several emails, several LinkedIn DMs, and before I even went off Instagram for a while, also DMs on Instagram with people writing me with about questions about the admissions. Now, like I said in my previous video, this is just not a good time for me to provide support to as many as I can. And that's why I'm using my YouTube to do that. I'm wrapping up in a few weeks from school. So I have my thesis, I have my projects, I have all of that going on. And just like you're applying, I'm also applying for my PhD. That's a full time role as well. And like many of you would have guessed already know, I am a single mom. So I have a child as well. So it's just a lot. And I'm also applying for jobs. So there are so many moving parts to me right now, and I can't provide as much support as I would love to each and every one of you. But I was able to respond to a few people to say, hey, email me your questions, and I will find a time before the deadline to just answer all of them. Some did, some did not, and there are some people I just could not respond to you because maybe if I responded to you at that time, I would have been really harsh because the pressure has been a lot and it's been very overwhelming. Some that I might speak wrongly or something. Now, today I want to answer a few questions that I think I didn't cover. Also, that some people were asking. But then, if you have not watched my other videos, this might not make sense to you. So I have the check up. You're going to see a link to the statement of purpose, personal history, and diversity statement video. That will really help. Go watch it if you need help in those things. I also have a detailed video on UC Berkeley admissions and the Mastercard Foundation stuff. So you can also watch it now here first. Then my colleagues and I, that's in my cohort, when we came in as Mastercard scholars, we did a whole webinar on UC Berkeley admissions, not just Mastercard, but Mastercard and other admission processes. And we had a lot of people answering who even provided their details that you can reach out to them. You can also watch it here. So those three videos, you have to watch it first to give you a background. Now, in most of my videos, I talk about UC Berkeley, then I talk about MasterCard because that's what I got. Now, before I got into UC Berkeley, I had also gotten admitted into the University of Massachusetts in Boston, but there was no funding. Okay. I think those were the two schools I applied for in the US. I have not applied for any other school. And I know that most of the advice I have provided can be used or applied to most of these other schools. I also believe strongly that most of the doings or happening in my life is kind of scripted, and the hand of God is strongly in my journey. Like I really believe it. Also, my part is a little bit relatively unique. When people ask me to share my SOP, I'm like, if I share it, you might not be able to take anything from it as much because I don't know. I think it's just a different, unique part that I have. And so I try not to make a doctrine of my journey that, hey, because this is what worked for me, if you don't do this, it won't work for you. Mm-mm. I've seen people who I do not think have the kind of experience I have come in and do extremely well and they bring in their unique perspective and skills, and it's just amazing. And I've seen people who have way more experience than I do. They have also come in and done exceedingly and amazingly well. Okay, so I try not to make a doctrine of my results that because I got this result when I did this, then if you do it, you will also get. No, I do not do that. So, with that being said, I know that in Nigeria, most times, or in most parts of Africa, people are quick to get response by phone calls or SMS, but most people don't respond to their mails. Unfortunately, here in the US, it's not exactly like that. Yeah, it can happen that people don't respond to their mails, but you see all those administrative offices and all, they respond to their mails. If you have any question, please send them an email. If they don't respond for a while, send a reminder from time to time until you get a response. Sometimes you have to be persistent because they're also getting so many mails. Uh, it's not, don't push the the assignment to someone else. Don't try to guess. Don't try to just get other people's answers. You need to push in the door yourself. You need to push in or push the door, try to push the door yourself. Let me give you an example. I went to write an exam recently, it was an intentional exam, and they had this number, and I got there. It was difficult to locate the area, so I had parked somewhere and I had walked to this place and I couldn't find it. Eventually, I found it and I was trying to open the door, it wouldn't open. I tried, I'm like, is there another entrance? There were like four doors and they were automatic doors and no one was opening. So I went round the building, went round the block to the other street and back again. And I saw some people standing in front. So I said, okay, maybe they're for the same exam as I am. And maybe I'm a little bit early. Let's wait together. I didn't talk to them, but I just stayed there. And before I knew it, they also left. Uh-uh. I'm like, am I the only one? Maybe they're not here for the exam. And so I just leaned on there was a flower pot there that was quite big. And so I just leaned on it. And I was waiting that maybe I was too early. And suddenly someone came, a lady came, and then she just went in and then she pushed and she opened it. I think there was, you had to do it maybe because it's an automatic door. There had to be a sensor, and then and I didn't know. So someone else too came out, and I immediately, yeah, I wanted to run in with her because it was obvious she came for the exam because she had her passport with her, or she came for a similar exam or that exam because she had a passport with her. And I'm like, oh wow, I've been standing there for like over 45 minutes. I thought I was too early. When I went up, everybody was there, people were there, and I could have sat down, and it was really cold. And I'm like, oh, I tried it once, twice, and I didn't want to spoil the door. So I just stepped back and I was just waiting under the cold. And it felt weird because the street was quiet and I was just there. So sometimes you just give up when you should just make an effort or even ask a question. Or probably I should have called because there was a number there. But I thought I was too early. So why call? But it didn't occur to me that this is an international exam. People will come from far. So people might also be early or even earlier than I thought I was because I was just like an hour, 30 minutes early. So that should be something, if that's going to help you anyway, get that. Now I'm saying that because people send me some kind of questions that seem very impossible and ridiculous. And I'm like, I'm not a staff of the MasterCard Foundation Scholars Program, whether internationally or in Berkeley. I'm not in the admission committee. And in my videos, I keep saying I didn't know anybody. I didn't have any personal relationship. I did not send any. I just followed normal processes. So how do you send me a message and tell me I've applied for a waiver since it hasn't come? I don't know why they're not responding. Can you check the email? Can you tell them to check the email? And I'm like, hey, God, who did they think I am in the first place? I am just me, excellent. So I don't have that kind of power that you are thinking that I have. I don't have that kind of influence. Send them an email. Now, another thing is I've noticed that especially with my experience is I remember when we applied for the waiver, to be honest, at first I didn't want to complete my application. So they said they'll get back in 2 weeks. I think they didn't get back until a month. So that happens. But even if I was going to scale through, I worked to save my application fee. You want to apply for top programs like this because I said it in my other video. I said, yes, I got a waiver, but I also got the scholarship. But I don't think I've met any other person that actually got the waiver and also got the scholarship. Most of my other friends, they said they actually paid the application fee. Some said they got waiver from the program that they're applying to or for from another stuff. It wasn't even MasterCard. Me, I got from MasterCard. And I think I was just graced to do that. I'm applying for my PhD now, and I also put stuff together to apply for application waivers in the school I'm applying for. In fact, this morning I got one approval that, hey, we've approved your waiver. And that gave me a ginger that, let me just continue to help people, that kind of stuff. And that's why I'm creating time this afternoon to do this video for you. Okay, so you have to just follow the process. Check if there will always be a web page that details the application waiver process. If it's not there, send them an email. Post to them what are the options that I have for an application waiver. Stop sending me that kind of emails. I'm not God. I'm not in that committee. I don't even know how that whole thing works. I'm just telling you how it happened for me. And I'm also trying not to make a doctrine of that. I'm not any spectacular thing that you think. I'm not in any of those administrative stuff. So I've addressed that. So that's an application waiver, but also save money. and try if you can apply. If you decide, hey, I don't want a school that doesn't give me waiver, so fill out your application. Wait, if you don't get a waiver by the last day, if you can pay, pay. If you cannot pay, you let it go. Don't be in a hurry to submit as well if you want to wait for the waiver. Because sometimes if you apply, if you pay, forget about it, right? So even if it comes, they're not going to refund you your money. You have to just be patient. Okay. Then someone sent me a message on what kind of WES ICAP evaluation they require. My program did not require WES. My program did not require use of English test. So I did not do any of those two things. But I did WES for a different reason, which I think for my PhD. So I started it early. The WES evaluation you would do for an academic program is course by course, not document by document. But if you're not sure, reach out to the program director or attend their open house or something. Now, some people might not have a virtual open house or open day where you can learn. For example, one of the schools I'm applying for my PhD is not doing anyone this year, but they've done previously in some years and they have the replays of two of them. I have sat down and watched those replays like maybe more than 3, 4 times to see what they want over and over again. As funny as it is, the second replay was done as far back as 2022 or 2023. It's not even last year. And I reached out to them and they said they're not sure they're doing an open house this year. So I'm like, okay, no problem. So I kept listening to them. And then if I had questions, I reached out to the program director. I sent an email. Sometimes it takes a while to reply, but I'll wait and I'll send a reminder. So if they have previous ones, listen to that. If there's a new one, sign up. Now the timing might be different from yours, but if it's at night, show up so I can ask your questions. Then there's something I did not say during the SOP video that I said. In your SOP, if you're requiring funding, like for example, I think that was a very big mistake that I missed out on that. There are some programs, for example, UC Berkeley, that do not even know that their program is qualified for, or the admission officer might, or the program director or head of admissions for that program might not remember or might not know that Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program is there, and for you to qualify, they have to refer you or something. Sometimes they do not know about that. So, in as part of maybe towards your final paragraphs, you want to add that I would like to be considered for the Mastercard Scholars Program, and to do this, the my program has to recommend me, and I appreciate if you make this if the program can recommend me. So you can actively put it there. Some programs like Development Nigeria UC Berkeley, we've always had Mastercard scholars, so they know one. I think they always would kind of, if they see that you fit, they'll find a way to send your name. Then it's not everybody that is referred that Mastercard calls, but then they do their own part. But I realize that some programs do not know. So if you know you require funding, don't be afraid or ashamed. Like put it there. Also, you can also say, instead of saying Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program Fiscal, you can also say you need funding and you would like to be considered for any available funding or fellowships available. So funding can come in scholarships, but it could also come as a fellowship, right? So put it there so that they can consider you for that. Then someone asked a question. I'm saying that I have to apply through SOFAS. I have to apply through SOFAS. Every program is different. Like I just said, my program didn't need WEFs and didn't need use of English because I did my undergrad and my studies so far in English. So it was good. But some programs need it. And I also know that there are some programs in public health that you have to apply through SOFAS, not all the programs. So apply. I'm also applying for a doctoral program in the School of Public Health here in Berkeley. And I have to apply through SOFAS. So check what they require and follow the instructions. And if you're not clear, reach out to the program director. I'm not the program director. So I should come and tell you don't apply through SOFAS or apply through SOFAS. No, I won't do that. So find out what they require. But also know that SOFAS has their own rules. So you apply to SOFAS, you not apply for the program, and you apply for that. So check it. Google is your friend. Another thing is I have a note here. I'm trying to understand second year or final year. Yes. Now I wrote second year or final year. I'm saying this because most times you reach out to people and you think they're not responding to you, they are not being nice. It's not true. A lot of people can be very burdened or overwhelmed, especially when they're in their final semester or final year. And let me say final semester when these applications are going on. So don't take it hard on them. They're not mean. They just have a lot going on and they might not be able to help you at that point. So they're not ignoring you. So pay attention to that. You might want to also reach out to people that have graduated recently. um, they might be able to help you more. Maybe, especially if they're not under the burden of trying to look for a job or if they're available. But most people that are in their final year have a lot of pressure to deal with. So don't take it out on anyone. Then someone's asking me about filling economic data. For me, I think in your Torah application, you have to be truthful. Now, for me, in all my applications are very truthful. So if you wake me up from my bed anytime, I'm telling you the truth. You can ask me how much I earn. This is what I earn, and I have it. I have the proof. I'm not lying. So because all of these things are going to sink. If you lie, you see that you're gonna regret it. Except you're keeping the details somewhere. So if you're keeping it, say it has to align. So for me, I think just be truthful and be as modest as you can, and then keep your application information somehow so that you can always call it back to remind you what you said and you know how to approach it. Then I also want to say be patient. Be patient when you're reaching out to people, when you're applying to people. Be persistent, but be it's okay to be persistent. When I mean be persistent, asking over and over again, but do it joyfully, gladly, do it with some kind of kindness and empathy, knowing that they are also human beings and life might be happening to them in a different way. And so be understanding, and so be patient. And also, when you're sending your inquiry, be specific and as detailed as possible. So if someone wants to help you, they'll help you. They can't, most people don't have time to be going back and front with emails to you like, what did you say? Okay, how else? Can you clarify this for me? I can't write essays for anybody right now. I can't even review anything right now. I do not have that time. Maybe next year I will try, but I can't do it right now. Then finally, I want to talk about the diversity essay. Just a brief about it. I think I already talked about it in the Disability of Purpose, Personal History and Diversity essay. But the diversity essay is just asking you to tell them how, what is your perspective about diversity and how do you think you bring diversity to the cohort? Like, how will you contribute diversity to the cohort and the school? What have you? How has your experiences shaped you in terms of including diversity, or thinking diversity? Now, most of us, especially in Africa, you might have so many stories of diversity, but then you can't share all. So keep it to one page, and you might want to do maybe pick one or two experiences. Someone that I learned from said you can do three paragraphs. The first paragraph should talk about what diversity means to you. Second paragraph should talk about your experiences with diversity, and then final paragraph should talk about how you're going to bring diversity to the cohort or the school. Let me give you a typical example. Um, so for me, I've had so many diversity experiences, and one of it was understanding that the African society is not kind to helpless women. And as a single mom, irrespective of what I had gone through, I was supposed to be kind of a victim, but no, it didn't matter. There were so many opportunities that I could not access because I was limited, and I had a motherhood debt and all of that, and so I had to find my way. And I've also been able to create and enhance diversity by helping other women do the same, um, across different spheres of life and geographical locations. That's one example for me. Another example for me is when I came here, the MasterCard Foundation Scholars Program here does not support dependents, just the individuals, and it's a very fantastic program. But I was able to rally some colleagues and do a petition to encourage that, hey, you guys are very prominent about supporting women, especially from Africa. If you're supporting women from Africa that are in grad school, they're either pregnant or just getting married or have kids or something. It's very not so common to see many that are single. Yes, there are, but then when they have to choose between taking when a seeming opportunity becomes a burden and they have to choose between their future and taking it, it can be very dicey. Most people are not able to make a choice. And most people, because when they see their future, they see the children, they take their kids and maybe forgo the opportunity or something, and it's not exactly fair. So basically, I was just able to talk a bit more about it because I had that experience, not having a backup and childcare, and I've been quite vocal about childcare models in women empowerment. So yeah, that is something that I could also include my diversity SE as part of what I included. Another experience for me is that I had that my lived-in experience that I thought was a disadvantage as a single mom was very catalytic or very instrumental in creating a winning curriculum that was able to empower so many women because it was relatable, it was lived in, it wasn't just book knowledge, so it made it unique. And what we had taught was different, but that unique perspective was a game changer. Also in school, like for me, I've had so many experiences, but one thing I've realized with most of these applications is that those people that are winning is not that they have it all or they're very perfect, but I realized that it's not just about knowing it or having the experience, but being able to communicate that experience is very, 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 very important. So you need to be able to communicate your experience and who you are, where you're coming from, and why you want this. If you want this and you're not able to communicate effectively why you want it, why we should give it to you, then why should we call you in the first place, right? And also in communicating it, you have to know who your audience are and what they are looking for and like they need to see a program fit. Are you fit for this program? And how will you bring value to us? How is it going to be a win-win for you and I? So yeah, I needed to put those things out there, and I hope I don't have to do another video in recent times again about this whole admission thing. And I hope it helps many of you. I'm rooting for you, and I wish you guys all the best. Bye.